There is emerging on the face of the earth a new human, an infinite human, and that infinite human is you. Join Elizabeth Monroy weekly for enlightening discussions, multidimensional journeys, profound meditations, and empowering visualizations as we co-create the new consciousness renaissance together with other blossoming infinite human beings who are shifting the old paradigms of our broken, fragmented, finite 3D Earth and alchemizing it into a more expansive, unified, loving, infinite reality by reclaiming their true divine infinite power within as the co-creators of the new infinite Earth. Join us weekly for the Infinite Human Talk Show, hosted by Elizabeth Monroy.
Hello, my divine, infinite human beings. You're all that is, ever has been, and ever shall be. And welcome to the Infinite Human Talk Show. I'm your host, Elizabeth Monroy, and we're going to be talking about this year's Lionsgate. Oh my God, it is off the charts. There has never been a Lionsgate portal like this before. And we are in it, and it's only going to increase in frequency and in power and in magnitude. We've already seen what it's doing to the planet. Earth is rocking and a rolling, and she's actually breaking free from net Earth, from the dead phantom parts of her that are not choosing to ascend. So that's what we're seeing right now. And it's happening externally and internally. And I'm sure you're feeling these very, very powerful frequencies that are just inundating you and transmitting you. And that's what they're here for. And this is the most powerful Lionsgate that we have ever had. Now, why? Why is it so powerful? Well, if you've listened to me before on my podcasts, and it's a miracle if you have, because I have been so hijacked and co-opted. This podcast, it's just, if you're hearing it, it's a miracle because it's gone from one hand to another hand. Nobody will give me a redirect so I can bring my audience with me. I found out there's another woman that has the Infinite Human Talk Show, which I trademarked it and copyrighted it, so that wouldn't happen. And then there's so many of these Infinite Human websites that are coming up, so everything has been to redirect you away from the truth, okay, from what's going on and what I'm saying. And obviously, it's very obvious I have a very powerful message. So please follow me. Please subscribe. Hopefully everything is on my website, infinitehuman.com. If you don't see my face or Kiki, my Pomeranian, on my website, it's not mine. So anyway, so glad you found me. So today I really want to talk to you about this energy because it's so powerful. I'm going to give you some, not only tips about how to handle it, because it is really wreaking havoc. It's pushing out everything, so everything's coming up for you. All the old traumas, all the old physical diseases, everything is coming up to be liquidated, to be purged, to be healed, and to be looked at. All right. So this is a crucial period. What happens in these next, well, I'll just say for the whole month of August. This month of August is like no other time period that we've ever had on this planet. This is a time of immense power. You have the ability to make quantum leaps into the new you, the infinite you. You have the ability to rewrite all the old stories, just let them go, rewrite them, rewrite away the karmic patterns, the victimization, everything that you've suffered. You've got a clean slate now, and the universe has your back. The universe is behind you, cheering you on. So but what's important is to use this energy properly, because seriously, the energy is so powerful. You can go out of your mind if you can't focus, meditate, ground yourself, be in nature, And I found you have to use this energy because you're getting this huge gift of energy that you just, before you might have gotten a little hit and it made you feel good. You had a nice meditation, you just shared it with your friends and family. Now it's pushing you out the door to be who you were meant to be your authentic, infinite human self and start your soul mission. All right. So I'm going to start with the external world because I want you to not look at it anymore because it's going to distract you. All the work is inside, but we are seeing basically this is it. This is the breakdown of the old 3D world completely. This is like, and I told you many times, this is 2025, the year of the 9 in numerology. So everything is finishing. All the old timelines, all the false structures, all the Illuminati creations, the banking structures, the educational structures, the governmental structures, the medical structures, all of these faulty foundations are cracking and crumbling because they cannot continue to exist in these higher frequencies, because these higher frequencies demand wholeness, holiness, integration, integrity, ethics, morals, and service to others. It demands it. So all of those who have not figured that out yet, they're cracking, they're crumbling. You're going to be seeing them break up right before our eyes. We're going to be seeing the institutions, the parasites are going to have their reckoning. Okay, whether in try not to get caught up in the drama of whether these people are brought to justice, who's on the list and all that trauma, because that is distracting you. But and we're also seeing Earth going through major Earth changes and Earth shifts, because our Earth and people use the word 5D Earth, but really we're not going that route of 5D Terra and Gaia. We're going to the Aurora Earth. So we're going to Earth, or we're going to the platforms that are on an alternate, but it's all becoming the same thing, but we're all returning to the integrity of the original seed of our Mother Earth in the highest emanation, which is Eartha. So that is all, that's very expansive. So our Mother Earth is expanding. And in order to expand and rise in frequency with her, you have to do so. Those that cannot do that are going to be left in net earth, and you don't want to be a net earth. You don't want to fall into phantom, because that is not a good place to go. That if you think things have been bad on 3D earth, well, you ain't seen nothing yet. So I've said this many times. I don't mean to do the fire and brimstone, but it is motivational, because what we need now is it's time for the meek, misinterpreted part of the Bible, but the meek to inherit the earth. Okay, the meek, the gentle-hearted, the Christic starseeds, the light workers, those of us who've always kind of been victimized because we're the good people. We're the ones who've been, the martyrs, and we the ones who've always, kind of good guys finish last. We're the ones where everyone else was promoted because they were willing to do whatever it takes, including backstabbing other people. We're the ones who were, I don't just say meek, we've been kind of back. In fact, we've been many times ridiculed, bullied, and on the really difficult spectrum, murdered, raped, hung, stoned, all that stuff. So we've had that. That is the false timelines. That is the trauma that we've faced. So there's a lot of fear right now because these frequencies are just coming at you so strongly. They're bigger than even your own body can hold. So it's demanding you to get out there and share them and channel them out there, because guess what? The meek are going to inherit the earth, but you can't be meek anymore, because you are the leaders. If you're listening to my voice, which is a miracle, I told you, because they're trying. I can't tell you how hijacked this show's been, but if you're listening to my voice, you are one of these leaders. You've probably incarnated from the highest cosmic realms. You may be a femme, or just, from a very high place to come here to be of service. Perhaps you're awakening just now with this massive, traumatic kind of hit. Like sometimes I just, 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm jump out of bed. I'm so wired. So maybe you're feeling some of that, or maybe, other things are happening as catalysts to get you to step into what I've always said, your infinite human shoes, and to begin to be about why you came here. You have a very unique and a very beautiful and exciting soul mission. It's tailor made to you. It's something you love. You will love doing. It's something you've wanted to do all your life. It's the reason you incarnated here. It's not self-sacrifice. It's not martyrdom now. It's getting out there and shining and being the true you, and being, the authentic, real you, and sharing your joy on the path of joy, sharing your passion, doing the things you love out loud, living out loud, not apologizing anymore, walking into the room and commanding the presence, stepping into your, for the women, wearing your crowns, stepping into your royal queenliness, empressness, or, because you are the true royalty, the true Magi Grail lines. And so it is your time now. This is it. And I know it can be terrifying. And the reason it can be terrifying is because every time, we spend most of our lifetimes on the false timelines in hiding, because our lights, were so bright. They would be like Rudolph's the Red-Nosed Reindeer, it'd be like, it would draw people to us, but the wrong people, because they'd be seeking us out, to use and abuse us. But those times are over. That false timeline, that Fibonacci spiral, everything that has been created out of that decay in immoral greed and victimization and parasitic, structures to feed on others, is crumbling, because it cannot survive, as we're being literally hit with all these powerful frequencies that are, of course, our sun's in Leo now, and that's combining with Sirius, the spiritual star. So that's what the Lion Gates is all about. It's when it's the highest opening and connection of downloads, and that's when you get, throughout history, people have gotten very high, cosmic downloads, visions, because the portals open. And this was the Star of Bethlehem, that the true Christ, Yeshua, Sananda Melchizedek, came through, and and he also exited there. That is the portal to the higher realms. It's like a direct line, to the God source worlds. So now it's just busting it wide open, because we're not supposed to just have a little, phone line to infinite source. We're supposed to ascend into it. Okay. We are becoming these higher frequencies. These higher frequencies are pouring through at the fastest rate it can, without completely destroying, our bodies and our Mother Earth, and our Mother Earth wants to ascend. So she's assimilating this. She's ascending. She is moving into these higher frequencies. And that's what we're doing right now. And yes, it is difficult. Yes, it is painful sometimes, unnerving, terrifying. There's a lot of anxiety. There's a lot of dis-ease where things are coming out of your bodies, illnesses that are coming out to be recognized and dealt with. Basically, you're becoming a whole new person. All right. So that's what this time period is all about. Now, I think that was pretty I hope you grasped the magnitude of that. I've spent the first quarter talking about the magnitude of what we're experiencing, and it's only going to increase. So whatever you're feeling, tiredness, anxiety, flipping back and forth, you may be so tired one minute, you may be sleeping all day, the next minute you may be so anxious, you can't, stand still. You may be experiencing all kinds of bodily aches and pains and discomforts, jaw, neck, all everything is just opening, purging, and it's very individual. So just love yourself, understand what's going on, but the best thing you can do is start to understand. This is a great time. These are some tips. And I know I was feeling like, I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here. And I was trying to like travel, and the doors kept closing, because really it's a good time to do two things. One, it's really, really good with all the planets in retrograde now, to slow down the best you can and use this energy. Use this energy for self-reflection, self-examination, self-contemplation, and manifestation. Because what is going to happen now is, if you can clear out, but you have to purge these lower frequencies, because anything you're still holding on to from the past, any old patterns, any old, oh, poor me, any old victimization, any more looking outside yourself for someone to save you, to fix it, to do it for you, any of those, any of those old patterns are going to hold you down in frequency. They're going to keep pulling you back down. You don't want to go down, because, and I'll just say it again, because this is going to be a rocking and rolling time. We've already seen it happen, with the tsunamis and the earthquakes, and it's only going to increase. And you want to be plugged into your intuition. You want to be in the right places at the right times, divine timing. You can trust yourself now. Many of you have had a lot of experience with using your intuition, and you've grown to trust it. And this is the ultimate test, because you're going to have to really know where you need to be, when you need to be there. Timing, divine timing is crucial. You're going to be repositioned, maybe different places. And so listen to it. That's very important right now. And don't be distracted by what's going on in the external world, because there is a lot of purging and cleansing. And, these souls, so everyone returns home, but many of the people that you see, these victims in the disasters, or these, whatever, criminals or whatever, they've had billions of years to make different choices. And this right now, with this whole completely, the two pathways, that we'll just say 3D Earth and 5D Earth and beyond, is really the higher frequencies of Earth beyond 5D. There's a big separation happening now. And your choices, everyone is reaping the effects of their choices. And those who have chosen wisely this is going to be a fantastic, amazing time. It's your time to shine. It's your Earth now. You're the founders of the new Earth. And those who have consistently held on to the past, held on to, self-centeredness, held on to greed. You know who I'm talking about. You probably have had encounters with them, or have been all about me, who have continuously just clung to the lower frequency realms, are going to continue on that descent. And like I said, everything returns home eventually. Sometimes it's I like to say star sparkle. It sounds better. But Now let's talk about the good stuff. Let's talk about you, the ascending. This is our time, because as these institutions crumble, the masses are being herded toward AI. Well, AI will take care of it for you. AI will, artificial intelligence is going to do everything else. So as these institutions crumble, all these, parasitic, deceitful people, are brought to justice, the artificial intelligence will think for you, create for you, and create your new artificial earth. Well, you don't want to do that. And I've, talked to that, beat that poor horse. You don't want to do that. So, what is the solution? You, which is why you're being inundated with all this energy right now, and why it is time to rewrite your new self, to your heroic version of you, to the highest version of you, because vacancy, there's job openings for everything on the new earth. And that's exactly what we are creating now, from ground zero, from scratch. And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful canvas. It's a beautiful, diary or a book with blank pages. But you want to be clean, you want to be pure, you want to have the confidence to take on the job that you contracted to do. You want to have the most of all, the confidence, the self-worth. You want to be able to step up when the job, it opens, and say, here, I'm here. I'll take it. You show up. You've got to show up with all of you. You've got to show up wholly with the infinite God source, within you, just saying yes, and surrendering your ego and your petty, wants and oh, but what about this? What about this? Your fears, your hurts, your blames, all that stuff. Surrendering, letting go. You have to really just purge that, so you can allow this beautiful new chapter, this beautiful new book that you are now writing, and you're rewriting it, and you are rewriting it with all your passion, with all your love, with every dream you've ever had, the true dreams of what you've wanted, not only for yourself, because I know if you're listening to me, you're a really good person and you wanted it so much for humanity, and all your anger and frustration and perhaps even, your meanness, because I know sometimes I had someone say, you can be mean, and, my meanness and anger at people, those stupid people, the sheeple, that kind of thing. It's truly because we wanted so much more for them. We've wanted so much more. And you know what? They want it right now. Not all of them. And they'll go with the lower frequencies on the Fibonacci spiral to net earth, to phantom. And that's fine. That's their choice. But those that are choosing, they need leaders right now that are not going to take over, not leaders that, follow me, I know what to do, but leaders that empower them, leaders that create leaders. They need you to step up into the highest emanation, the highest authentic, infinite part of your aspect of yourself, your Christos self. They need you to embody God incarnate, a Christ, to be a Christ. That's what a Christ is, a God incarnate, or infinite source walking the earth, or as I call it, an infinite human. And that's what you are, an infinite human being. And just through that connection that you have with infinite God source, and your willingness to surrender your ego, your finite selves, to this infinite self, you become a finger of God here on earth. You become, through your hands, God creates heaven on earth. And that's what we're here to do in our own unique way. Now, what I do, I've kind of, and I found my way, and it's just getting bigger and bigger and more exciting, and your job is to find your way. Remember what made you so happy when you were a child, the playing that you did. Remember, what you could do, or even now what you can do that loses time. You could do it for hours. You could look up and 5 hours have passed and you didn't even realize it. Something that and after you do it, your aura is just huge. You can fill the room with it. You want to allow that part of yourself, the part of yourself that walks into a space and commands it, and not in a, I'm, the new dictator force, but of course, I think you know what I mean. Commands it with love, because you just spread that frequency out. You spread that. You've noticed I'm always wearing flowers now, and that's my new painting of the new me here. I think that's really what part of it. And you just want to spread that frequency out to not only holding the frequency to Mother Earth, but to humanity and to all you touch. And you know what? You don't have to be afraid, because your frequency is becoming so high. Your light is so brilliant that those who don't like it will just quietly, you know, find the nearest exit. And that's fine. They can't handle it. But those that are longing for it will come to you, not as parasites, not feeding off you, because you're learning boundaries too. You're learning your job and you're learning your self-worth. So you will find, this is finally the time when we are going to be finding our soul tribe, our true soul families from the stars. We're going to be coming together, not just vertically, in the higher dimensions, but we'll start actually physically coming together with beautiful, exciting projects. And I just see that. That's part of my vision. And I see this all unfolding. This is what's been coming up for me, the visions I've been having lately. So it's really exciting. And I've gotten to the point where I'll just take a minute to tell you a little bit about me, if you don't know about me. But of course, many of you have read The Infinite Human. So here's The Infinite Human. So it's my story. It's really me rewriting my story. And it was about me, and my twin soul, my Tantri twin soul, from the first flame that sparked out, and our work here on earth, that we did. And then when he finished, it was, he had to leave, he had to exit. And we're still working together, and I understand theoretically why, but of course I miss him every day in the physical, so I'm not gonna lie about that. But it was about overcoming that, and rewriting at the very end, looking at all the patterns as I expose what's been going on with all the different institutions and all the corruption, all the stuff that's coming out right now. It's my own personal journey. And I think because it's personal, I think many, especially women, can relate to it. We can see how those invisible doors have been shut in our face for so long. And we've had so much to give, so much creativity, so much joy, so much love, so much nurturing. And every time we've just started to really blossom and really just send it out into the planet, or giving it to a community or to a person, it's like, doors, energetic doors just slam in our face, and it hurts, and it's frustrating, and it's very um it's just horrible, not being able to have all this to give and not be able to give it. I think that's one of the biggest difficulties that so many women have, because we have so much, and in this little tiny cookie cutter, box that we've been placed into in society, it's just it's a joke, and I watched my mother struggle with it. And if anyone's read any of the women's literature, like the bell jar case, Sylvia Plath, I mean, it's just been going on for so long, and it's over. Okay, it is over. But we have to heal. That's the problem. We're still holding on to those wounds. We're still like waiting for the other shoe to drop. We're still terrified to, go out of the house and enter into the world as leaders and women leaders, not these tokes that they put in power and say, oh, yeah, there's a woman president and there's a woman, blah, blah. Come on. I mean, we're the ones who are supposed to take over the planet. And, I don't know if you've been noticing, but Kiki and I have been exploring all the goddess temples. And, here in Sicily, thank God they haven't had a chance to cover it up like they did in Malta. But, the proof is everywhere. If they really start letting us dig and see what's underneath our feet, everywhere. I mean, it was the women. It was the goddess cults, the goddess worship, the worship of the eternal mother that ran the planet. We were the ones before the fall on the true organic timelines. It's the women who make everything come out. Like they still do, but they have like, a little tiny bit of the power that they had when they were tuned and connected to the eternal divine mother, which all that goddess worship has been, all those statues, all the evidence of it has been like smashed and destroyed and wrecked. And, it's just totally hidden from view. But that's where we're going now. So a lot of the women really need to do some healing, and this is a time to do it. And I think you're not going to be able to hide anymore. And I was starting my story saying that for the past couple of years, I kind of since lockdown, I mean, we all have been kind of hiding, and I was actually glad. I was like, first, wait, I have so much to give. And I was like, hey, I'll live the Dolce Vita, get up whenever I want to, go to the beach, go out to eat, just whatever, write in my books. I did that in my talk show. But as of late, and I don't know if you're feeling this, so let me know, in the comments or emails or whatever. But if you're feeling this urgency, to get out there, because I just had to, it was like a hand picked me up and pushed me out the door, and I had to go out there. And it's the high tourist season. So a lot of, tourists from all over the world are moving through our little villages here in Sicily. And so I just had to go out and talk to everyone. I didn't even know, me and Kiki, and we would dress up and they would like take pictures of us and applaud us. And, and I just had to blend. I had to share my energy with them. And then that was like, downloading. And so I felt a lot more peaceful and calm because my energies were so intense. I was just getting such incredible downloads of a frequency. And so I think that's what's coming up now. I think we're going to have to start sharing it. And you're going to fail, you're going to fall on your arse, you're going to, you're perfect, but imperfectly perfecting yourself. Inside there's that perfection, but you have to overcome all the trauma that's been happening. So and this is a time for manifestation. So what I would strongly suggest is that you just take some time out, some nice reflective, peaceful time, like I said, to meditate, to reflect on what you really want, what you want to be like in the future, the perfect you, and what kind of life you want to create for yourself. And I will say a little disclaimer, warning, whatever. Watch out, because you will get it. As your frequency raises, you will get it. But you want to make sure you're not magnetizing, because that's what the feminine does, magnetizing to yourself the same old, because you might end up with the same kind of relationships. You might end up with all these things that you just take all your time from you. You might have a lot of material possessions, but they just might end up being distractions. You might end up attracting the people, the beautiful people you thought you wanted, but they might end up being vampires and parasiting off of you. So this is why before the manifesting is good, and everyone is saying, the buzz that out there is that this is the time for manifestation, that your thoughts will become reality. But that's why you really have to know yourself, and also really ask, surrender, say, divine infinite source, what is the highest version of myself? Help me to become that, and help me to make wise choices that are in alignment with my soul mission, which is why you came here from the God source worlds, and in alignment with thy will, the will of infinite God source, God's will, which is to create heaven on earth, to create the oneness with respect for all life forms, with respect for nature and humanity, your fellow human beings, love, unity, that kind of thing. So I think we all want that. I mean, anyone that's listening to me, not everybody, but if you're listening, if you're hearing my voice, that's the frequency that we're all attuned to. And the good thing about this is that as you purge those I'll just say ego. I know people don't like that word anymore, but ego, finite selves, your finite desires, and these um aspects of yourself, these old karmic patterns, these old stories that you're still clinging on to out of loyalty, out of not knowing what else to do, out of fear, out of misplaced loyalty a lot of times, and out of a false definition of who you are. So as you cling to those, all right, so hold on for dear life out of fear. Okay. Now that is keeping you from allowing the new frequencies to come in, and it's stopping you from raising your frequencies. When you get to the higher frequencies, and I'm talking like a 12-stranded crystallic avatar, your manifestation is instantaneous. But it's kind of a good fail-safe thing, because I just saw a great oldie, Forbidden Planet. Peter loved that movie. But it was all about this man whose capacity is brain power, only thought, it wasn't connected to heart. It was such a very masculine kind of movie. In fact, it was all men except for his daughter. And his abilities had become so powerful that he was able to manifest anything. But he had not dealt with his shadow self, okay, his shadow aspects. So he created this monster from the id that ended up killing everyone, and he didn't even know it was him that was doing it. So that cannot happen on the Christic path. That cannot happen in the natural order of things on the organic timelines. That was something that they had created, machines, artificial machines, the krill, and all this in this society that was working against God's natural laws and the law of one. But in the law of one, you have to let go of those aspects of yourself, because, I was explaining to, I think, my sister-in-law the other day, what if your thoughts happened immediately and you got so mad, like, I hate this person, I wish I could kill them, and boom, so so that's why this time period, along with manifesting, please do that. I think that's wonderful, to draw pictures of what you want to look like physically, to be healthy, to be beautiful, to the kind of body you want, the kind of agility, the youthfulness, the energetic, aspects of having a beautiful physically viable body to do your purpose, to be emotionally healed, where you feel compassion and love, mostly for yourself, self-love, and for others, and you don't have baggage, the anger and the hates and the jealousy and the envy and all that kind of stuff, following you around. And then mentally, where you're really expanded in your awareness, you're open to new things, to new adventures. Life is an adventure for you, and life can be beautiful because you are creating your own reality. You attract to yourself what you need to experience. And many people, I've seen people who are so well schooled in, advanced metaphysics and colonic science that just are miserable. So that's not the path of joy. Um, that's not really the high frequencies, because the more you get into the higher frequencies, that's true spirituality. All right. And another point I want to make is true spirituality is not just being nice. So many people, they want you to believe they're so spiritual because they're just so loving all the time, like these Eastern, spiritual teachers, or you see a lot of them now, a lot of especially the women, they're like, love and false light and clueless, and they're just lovey and then they act like they're so above everything, and then well, you do this and you should do this, and no, I don't have any of those issues. I've cleared my shadow self. Well, look again, because that's really not it. We're always, as we live through life, making choices and choosing how to show up. And we need boundaries and we need tough love. And this is the time as we take over. It's a changing of the guards. And it's going to require a lot of courage and a lot of tough love, because what's going to happen is you're going to find yourself moving into positions, of power, like the leaders, the CEOs, the presidents, the heads of this organization, the spiritual entrepreneurs, people starting businesses, new businesses, and everything needs to be new. So it's only going to happen to those who understand. And again, this is why I wrote The Infinite Human, because like I said, I had a woman on here who wanted to be the first trillionaire, but she was still, trying to get into BlackRock and, trying to get into the old systems. Well, you're going to have to do all of this completely different. And not everybody's going to like that at first. Then they're going to love you because they don't want the same old, same old. But, they're like little children. They're going to kick and scream, wait, but that's not the way blah, blah did it before. Of course not. We're creating a whole new earth. We're creating it in the higher frequencies, and they'll start, tuning into you. They'll start attuning to your frequency, and they'll begin to be your helpers, and then eventually leaders themselves, because that's part of the process. You're role modeling them, and you've got to begin to trust your own inner visions over everything external. Everything external will be crumbling around you, and you just have to hold fast to that inner vision, that inner voice, that inner connection you have with divine infinite source. That is your guide now. And it's going to take a lot of faith, and a lot of faith in infinite God, in God, but and a lot of faith in yourself as God, as a God source. So it's going to be, and those who can heed that call are going to be the founders of the new earth. They're going to be the leaders. They're going to inherit the new earth. And these are the people I'm talking to. Okay. If this resonates, probably why I can't, they keep taking me off and rerouting people to other people. But this is an important message of you found it. It's a miracle, one, and two, you definitely are one of them. You're one of the co-founders who is a lot of work to do, and it's just about to start. Okay. So so I just want to wrap this up a little bit, because along with all these downloads I was getting, and being pushed to the point of having panic attacks. I've just been getting really pushed. It's time for me to get back out there in a big way, which I will. And that's what 2026 is all about. It's number one. So we're all going to be starting a new, new jobs on the new earth. We're going to be showing up for our jobs. So the rest of this year in this corridor right now, this August, you want to just tweak yourself. You want to get yourself up to the highest level, to your what I call your heroic self, your ultimate self. So you're on the ultimate timeline. And so I've been, I would say, guided. I was been shoved into creating an online course, but I'm going to do it so that it's live first. So I'm with you, every Sunday. I think I've said this before. Every Sunday, starting tomorrow, actually. So jump in fast, make a quick decision, and it'll be at 12 noon East Coast time and 6 p.m. my time this time. And we'll be talking live, which will be nice. You can ask questions and get some coaching and share some experiences and whatever you need, really open up to that. And then during the week, I will give you little exercises that will help you to hone in and focus on, how you are now, how you want to be, and what is getting in the way of that. Because how many times have we set goals for ourselves? How many times have we had these vision boards? And how many times have I want to be this, I want to be that, and what happens, we keep in that time loop, and it's been a manufactured thing. I mean, it's been ingeniously crafted. So it is put in place. It's not your fault that you have always go back to the same old. But this is a big opportunity you got the whole universe and the Lionsgate energy with you, pushing you literally. And I think with the right intent and creating just the space, the sacred space, which is what I've been called to do, to create sacred cyberspace, to be there holding the space and be there fully present, with love, unconditional love for you and your process. Because I love this process. It's a fun process. And it's kind of for like a writer. It's very creative. It's like a writer, filmmaker. I use it in my film school. It's really great if you want to write a book, because, it's your story, and it's looking at your story using different transformational art. We'll be doing some of that, doing masks and monologues and all kinds of stuff. And if that scares the heck out of you, you don't have to do it. Okay. It's really, you can just show up to the live class and just listen or ask questions or whatever, but it's going to be fun. Okay. And there's no pressure. It's just you saying kind of yes to the universe. Yes. Give me the structure, give me the focus, give me the opening, so I can really use this energy, this powerful energy of the universe during this month to clean myself up and to make the shift, so I'll be ready to step into my new position of CEO leadership of the planet when 2026 rolls around. And it'll be here like that. Have you noticed time is moving so fast? So anyway, I'm sorry I didn't put the comments on as usual. But so if you're interested in that, my website is www.infinitehuman.com. There are so many people that have made that website up just in the last couple of months. But if you see me, my face with Kiki and the Infinite Human, that's my website. I have all of my podcasts on there. If you get lost, if you're listening to this, subscribe to it, so try to stay in touch, because they keep switching things, so I lose my audience. I've lost, I had 50,000 people following me, and now I think there was like 3 who listened to my last podcast. It's just ridiculous. But it's they can't keep you down. That's the lesson. I was kind of upset about that, like, last week, and then I just, what, I'm just going to keep giving them me till me is what they want. They're not going to stop me. And I'm unstoppable, you're unstoppable. That's what we got to do when we get out there, and as we take over, the new earth, as we take our positions, we're going to get a whole bunch of people who are, definitely in not going to like what we're doing. But you know what? We're just going to keep on lovingly smiling, just with our charismatic, radiant energy, just shifting the planety, spreading the frequency, and assisting. Earth's already ascending, but we're going to populate it. We're going to create wonderful new structures, wonderful new places to live in, ways to travel, new technologies based on the ancient Tartarian technologies. It's going to be so exciting. And there's so much to do. And there's so much creativity, that our inner creativity that we have to share. So it's going to be a good time. So anyway, if you would like to be part of this energy that's coming through me, that I feel is going to really come through with this course, please go to my website, www.infinitehuman.com. I think it's under shop. You can sign up. It's for five sessions, because we've got 5 Sundays in August. We're starting tomorrow, and each week you'll get fun little assignments, and I have videos that I'll talk to you and inspire you, and then we'll have like a group call every Sunday, so you can participate in that as much as you want to. And it's there. I just put it on the website, and you can get a little glimpse into it. So I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be inspirational. I always love to do things like that, because I grow so much from the, from doing it myself. It's like, you and me, we all come to such a higher, more evolved place through the interaction, the participation of us together. So I just was had to love you all so much. Thank you so much for listening to me, tuning into me, and I really appreciate your your emails and your comments. I'm on Substack. And so I put a newsletter out. I have a blog on my website. You can always get in touch with me if you need to there. Sometimes the messages on my website don't get through to me, because I've had people like hacking and spamming it. So, but and also you can make comments on my YouTube channel. I really appreciate that too. So love to hear from you, and please share this with anyone you think this might be a catalyst for their awakening and further hero's journey into the infinite. And well, we're running out of time, and I guess I'll just go ahead and sign off now. And I hope to see you in the course tomorrow. Yeah, it's tomorrow. So, and even if you sign up, if you're hearing this late, you sign up late, don't worry, we'll catch you up some way. But I'd love to see your beautiful, shining, brilliant faces, across my sacred cyberspace screen. So, and when you sign up, you'll get a link to the sessions that will start tomorrow, and then you'll also get a link to the courses. And every day you have a little something fun to do, that helps you just look into who you are, and what could be more exciting than to explore you. And that's what the whole infinite Human University is about. It's all about learning about you, and there's so much to know about you. We never take the time to step back and look at us like a character in a book, and analyze ourselves. And we analyze we read so many books and we watch so many movies, and we know everything about, certain movie stars or the characters that we love, that they play, like Scarlett O'Hara or whatever. But do we ever look at our life story, which is fascinating? All of us have fascinating life stories. And the minute you open that valve, the minute you give permission, the minute you say yes, you click on it. Yes, I want to take this course, or yes, I want to do this. Yes, I want to know more. You ask to know more about you. It starts coming. And the thing about self-knowledge is that then and I always say this, you take back the pen, because when you're on autopilot and letting everyone else, scribble in whatever they want you to do in your life's book, well, no wonder you're pulled here, you're pulled there. Who's writing your story? The government, your parents, your partner, your children, the culture you live in, how much are they writing your story? So this is all about taking the pen back and writing the story you want to live now. I think that's a good way to end this. So, all right. And I will see you again, hopefully in this course. If not, I'll see you next week. Ciao from now from Sicily.
For more empowering words from Elizabeth Monroy and Dr. Peter Monroy, check out their latest book, The Infinite Human, an Ascension Guide for Starseeds, Twin Souls, and Awakening Infinite Humans, the co-creators of the new Infinite 5D Earth. You'll also find many spiritual books to help both children and adults in their ascension back to home, to infinite God Source. Isn't it time to be part of the new consciousness renaissance? If this resonates with you, subscribe to our website at infinitehuman.com and become part of our growing Infinite Human family.